Welcome in to another episode of the Real Estate Minute Show. Thanks for a few minutes today. We're talking about wire fraud today. It's scary. You can lose all your money in 4 seconds with a click of a button. Hang tight and I'll show you how to avoid it. All right, wire fraud is a real thing, and I'm not talking about that email or text you get from a Bangladesh prince who needs you to wire over $1 million quickly and he's going to give you 20 million back. Okay, I'm talking about something that tons and tons of people around the world and in the United States are falling for every day, and it is such a fine. These professional criminals on wire fraud are a special breed. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've seen examples of this in some training I've had, and it is so legit. Let me explain. So there's this story, you can go online and read it, but there's a story that I found out about actually right after, because I got a friend of a friend who knows the agent, who, kind of a chain of people, of a woman in Portland, and actually it was in some papers. You can go online and check it out. This woman in Portland, okay, had about, I think it was about $250,000 of her life savings. She was putting $200,000 of it, almost all of it, into a new home she was buying, okay? She's on the eve of closing. She has to go wire her money. She gets wiring instructions from her escrow company, who sends it to her. She confirms it with them that it's correct, and she gets ready for the next morning. She wakes up like any normal day, probably has some coffee, etc., and she's going to head off to the bank. But before that, she checks her email, and in that email is what she thinks, what she's been told on the email, is that it's revised wiring instructions for her to send the $200,000, her life savings. She doesn't think anything of it. She prints out the new wiring instructions, heads over to the bank. Just before she's about to press the go button on that $200,000 to wire it over to escrow, she says, I think I remember, and this is kind of hearsay, but I remember hearing it from a friend, I should call listen to what my realtor said to me, and that is always call to verify the wiring instruction before you ever send it, multiple times if you have to. So she calls the escrow company, verifies the new wiring instructions from that morning. They were all wrong. It was a scam. And it was so legit that in the emails, it was everybody on there, the agent and the escrow company and everybody that had been normally on these email chains for the last month, except these criminals changed one little thing. It's an I, they changed to a lowercase l. It's a 6, they changed to a 9, because our brains are not, wired so well to flip. Little tiny changes that look totally legit. She almost lost her entire life savings. There's a study done in 2019 by a title company that estimated there's about 11,500 cases of real estate wire fraud, and which accounted for about $225 million of lost money. And it's almost impossible to get this money back, because it's like international money that goes off to some, who knows where. So watch it. It's really kind of frightening, but don't be afraid of it in a real estate transaction. We have a lot of processes. Escrow's got a lot of processes on how to accomplish you not falling for that, okay? And one of the major ones is call. Always call and verify the phone number way early on of the escrow company. And depending on what state you're in, it could be the escrow company, the title company you're sending money to, or a lawyer's trust account, depending on what state. Whoever is going to get the money, call multiple times. Get the number from an independent source to that person, okay? And ask them, this is something maybe somebody has not told you before, ask that person on the other line to verify a couple pieces of information for you. Ask them for the address of the property while they're giving you the wiring instructions to verify. Ask them for the assessor parcel number, okay? Ask them for the date on the title policy, random little pieces of information that only they would know. Private stuff in the transaction to verify. Of course, the best way to verify wiring instructions is to physically go human to human, which I know is rare, but human to human, to drive to the escrow company, drive to the title company office, or drive to the lawyer's office and have them verify it in person with you standing there. Every number, routing number, account number, the whole thing. That's obviously the best. But if you feel comfortable, call, re-verify, verify a third time, verify a fourth time. Parting fact, a lot of escrow companies you'll find, and if you do get into a transaction, you may want to ask your realtor this, a lot of escrow companies are doing everything through a secure portal. So everything you need to do, you need to log in, it's encrypted, anything that's sent to you is through this encrypted portal. Even so, call again, re-verify. This is your life savings we're talking about, and it gets lost all the time now, and it's getting worse and worse, all right? Avoid it like the plague. See you next week on the show. Thanks for a few minutes today. Take care.